What's up? It's Mad Dog Daily again. Back with another video. Back with another blog post / video, whatever you want to call it. How y'all doing? So basically, what I want to talk about right now is probably going to be a very unpopular opinion. By the time I upload this, I'm already expecting a lot of people to not like this. But if they do, I'll probably think that you're just being nice. But I have to say this. This is going to sound cocky. I'm just going to go out and say it. I feel that 9 times out of 10, my whole life, I've been right about pretty much everything that most people thought was wrong. And a popular opinion people thought was wrong at the time. And then it would turn out that I was right. Now I'll tell you why I say that. I'll give a few not so important examples, at least not important to most people, but they are to me. Number one, this has to do, 2 things having to do with music, pop music anyway. The first of all, when I was a teenager, one form of rap music, or not really, but that's what people thought it was, that was popular was crunk. And then also just the whole Southern movement in general. And this is not mental health related. Let me just first say this video is not really that mental health related, but it will get to that point eventually. So let me just continue here. I was old enough to know that it was complete shit. It sucked. And compared to a year earlier, when stuff on the radio was still getting worse and worse and worse, but at least it still had some variety. It wasn't just a bunch of people screaming the same repetitive thing over and over and over again. But everyone was talking about you need to be more open-minded, this and that. You're stuck in the past, this and that. Not to mention I was in a school that was very, very, very abusive, but whatever. And then I eventually would be reading all these reviews a few years later, talking about it was the downfall of just hip-hop in general for a long time, and I'm like, see, I told you. Another example would have to be I've been seeing so many videos confirming this from people that are my age, so it's not like it's oh, I'm old so I don't get it, I'm not with it. It has to do with the fact that a lot of modern pop music is repetitive, all sounds the same. And every time I've talked about this with people, they have basically criticized it and said that I'm being too negative, or I'm stuck in the past, or it's not a healthy way to think. But it looks like, once again, every time I read something, every time I watch a video about something like this, people even go to scientific methods, talk about songs from the 60s versus songs of today, and the regression and experimentation and variety, and just any even catchiness just declining every time. And then to top all that off, it's just really, really sad that I take it personally. That's the thing. I take it personally. This isn't really about me, but at the same time, and you think that, let me explain why I personally why it's so important to me. Because where this is going to lead is a more personal thing. That was a small thing. This goes back to the last couple of videos I was doing, stuff I was talking about. And I tweeted about this earlier today and last night. And this has to do with the fact that I have a right to be upset at all the stuff that's happened to me in the past 20 plus years. A big third of my life has been taken from me, basically from mental and physical abuse, especially mental, but physical abuse too. Like, nobody can deny that. And just the idea that throughout all those years, I was sort of made to feel like it was nothing, and it was not that different from any kind of other abuse that gets a bunch of attention, rightfully so. And now I'm starting to realize, and that so many people agree with this, not with what, I was made to think, but the fact that I'm right about it, that I really am, that I'm upset, that it's okay to be upset about it, because anyone in their right mind would be. And I know I talked a lot about the lack of attention the last couple of videos, and I'm still doing it, but it's just something that you cannot just let go and, be like, oh, well, now it's a fresh start. No. Because you may think learning finally with all these stories, all these articles that keep coming out about how being told how to smile, you have to smile, you have to make eye contact, you have to be like a neurotypical if you're an Aspie or autistic or anything like that you're sort of a lesser person. And so you have to learn to be more like other people. That's just one example of the mental abuse. But let me tell you, the ABA, there was an article about the ABA and why this woman quit working for them. And that was the reason. And she kept using the word abuse. And I'm like, yes, these sort of pragmatic kind of methods are exactly what I've always thought they were about. And that's abuse, brainwashing, everything. So you'd think that I'd be like all like happy and be like, oh yeah, finally people get me. No, it's not that at all. I feel like I've been cheated, because now like all this time later, now all of a sudden people are realizing they fucked up, or they're discovering it for the first time. And I've been saying this for years, and nobody wanted to fucking listen to me. So that's the biggest reason why I'm saying, I've only used two examples, one just about music that's more general, and one that's more about me. And I could go on and on and on about things that I've predicted, and like Trump being president, for example. Not that I predicted him being president like The Simpsons did. But as far as like how fucked up things would be, and people being like, 2 years ago, oh, it's not that bad, he might, we don't know until, he becomes president, he might turn things around. That was fucking bullshit, and you know it. But because I say it, somehow I'm wrong. And guess what? Now you're probably going to deny that I was saying this stuff 2 years ago. So this is why I call it an unpopular opinion type video that nobody's gonna like. Because honestly, this whole video sounds selfish. But I had to get it off my chest, and I wanted to share it. So I guess you could say this video is more for me than anybody else, and that is very selfish. But regardless, if you watch the whole thing, thank you for watching the whole thing. And keep watching, because I'm sure, even if you at first glance think that this is a very selfish video, I'll bet you can relate to it, because a lot of people relate to exactly what I've been tweeting about double standards and about the abuse. So if you don't like it, you'll probably like it more after thinking about it. So I'm going to stop being a dick now and just say in a less, more same, still being a dick, but just for the sake of appreciating people watching the videos and reading the blog. Blog is down below in the description as usual, as is the Mixcloud. So that's about it. I'll see you next video or next blog post. And the music you hear in the background, that's a beat that I created yesterday. It's one of the best things I've ever done. So I'm going to keep being cocky about that and brag about it. Because I kind of deserve that, to do that a little bit. Everyone's constantly over the years force me to be more confident. And here I am being more confident, and it gets a backlash from certain people, but not in the mental health community, because you guys rock. That's not selfish, because we're all there for each other. Anyway, peace out. We'll see you next video.